Welcome. Take It Up with Jessica Lee. I'm here with Todd Rollin, who is the Director of Product Marketing from FICO.
Thanks,
Hey.
Jessica.
Hi, Todd. How are you?
Good to meet you.
I am fascinated about the FICO world because all I know about is mainly the credit score and, the financial business. But I'm excited to learn about this decision-making platform you're now offering.
Yeah, so decision management platform, decision management suite are just a couple of the kind of core capabilities that have evolved from FICO's business. And when you think about decision management, it's not terminology that's commonly used in a lot of organizations or thought of in that term. But think of decisions as the kind of decisions we make every day as humans, at what time to wake up, if I have an early meeting, do I get breakfast beforehand? When you start to model decisions in the business, there's a lot of friction in terms of how do we actually get the kinds of decisions that customers will find useful, valuable. How do we start to continue to build our brand with customers? And we're seeing a really transformed environment, particularly in areas like financial services, where if you're not disrupting, likely you're being disrupted. So how do you stay ahead of the curve? And for years, starting with a credit score, FICO has always tried to find ways to work with our clients to help make better decisions. And starting with areas like financial services and customer originations and customer management, debt collection, fraud detection's been a big area for us. We've really expanded as our customers have expanded. What if we're doing this for credit scoring or for fraud, why can't we do it for supply chain optimization, for example? So we've really expanded that focus over the years. And we've often let our customers help sort of pave the way for, this is what we need, FICO, can you help us get there?
Well, I think in the personal decision making of everyday life, we don't have as much data as a business does. So I think that's where the fascinating part is, that now with businesses you have like tons of data, and you have machine learning and artificial intelligence to help you make those decisions, but automate the processes now, right?
And I think that's the challenge, is businesses have invested extraordinary amounts of money in data and data lakes and mining data and trying to get insights from data. Likewise, they've spent a lot of resources to hire data scientists. The question is, with all that insight and all those resources, how is all this information actually getting used in the business? And this is where, when you look at the bottom line, businesses are going, we're really not getting the value out of this. Meanwhile, someone new has just moved into my industry and is moving at rapid speed, and they're taking my customers away. What are they doing that we're not doing? And it's a very complex question depending on your industry. But the challenge we really found, and with a lot of our customers, particularly those who've invested in tools like business rules and optimization analytics, as well as our core applications, is they're like, we need to be more agile in getting the data and the analytics into the decisions that are transformational, that are core to our business.
Like, for example, a business that wants to move from delivering 3 to 5 days to delivering in 1 day. I mean, that's a huge amount of data you have to analyze in order to optimize the operations in order to deliver the next day, for example, right?
That's exactly right, Jessica. I think you're dealing not only with a lot of data, but you're dealing with a lot of constraints in terms of how do we actually optimize not just the timing and the supply chain where things are located, how do we sort of play into the level of customer, for example, and we see in areas like renting cars, and, different levels of, are you a premium with hotel reservations, the whole hospitality industry. Airlines are a big area where we've really seen a lot of uplift in terms of those businesses using our software to make better decisions. Optimization, if predictive analytics tell you what might happen, what you could think might happen, optimization is really prescribing what you should do. And that's been a big shift. Optimization's been around for a while. The big challenge with optimization, as much as predictive analytics, is the same issue. How do we get the real value out of this? We're getting great value out of the tool, but how do we actually operationalize it? The big O word. How do we actually get it into the hands of the business teams that want to use it, that want to see how it's working, that want to test it and run scenarios and come up with a better solution so they can go back to the data science or operations research team and say, hey, look, your model's great, but we're not quite getting the results we want. Let's work together to make this happen.
So let's give an example of marketing, with a lot of marketing people watching, for example.
Okay.
If they want to optimize the revenue by giving certain offers to that consumer, there is a way to actually figure out what is the optimal offer, right?
There are lots of ways to do it. And again, I think one of the strengths of FICO has been recognizing we don't tend to bucket customers or clients into a specific region or industry. We really look and we ask the right questions to figure out what is your real unique value proposition here, and how do we help you transform and expand based on that. I think a good example of how it works is you look at, of course, loyalty, for example. Loyalty programs are one of those areas. I know a lot of us, I have so many loyalty cards, I can't stand it. Fortunately, some of those are becoming apps. The challenge, though, is, again, you're dealing with a lot of data. People are buying stuff all the time. How do we reward them for those purchases while encouraging them to purchase more? And this is a real challenge. There's a lot of data. There's streaming data. Imagine you're a large grocer, for example. If you have the information, you actually know, without going too clandestine on what you know about the customer and what they're doing, if you know they're shopping and you're able to give them the right offer at the right time. But how do you get there? And it's not just a data problem. It's not just an analytics problem, because you can run all the predictive models you want. But what if you come up with, there are 20 best things we think we could do? That's where the optimization can come in, and where that actually helps you say, well, this is the best offer, or these are the best 3 offers we should give based on this analytic model factory.
Right. So it's going to suggest that marketer to select certain offer and send it out and test it and see what the reaction is.
Now, exactly. The difference between just core optimization and analytics and rules and what we're doing with the platform is the platform takes it one step further. What it's allowing you to do is, the marketer isn't just getting the model and there's no transparency to it. They could be using a tool. We have a tool we call Insight that can help them actually visualize what will happen if they try out certain types of scenarios and decide, well, this is what we want to do. We want to uplift the sale of eggs, for example. And they're actually getting the ability to do all kinds of visualizations based on this. And they can either test it, or they can put the model into production and actually start to do the offers, get the data back. It's collected in what we call an analytic data mart. And then that information can go back to the people creating the models. This kind of learning loop, once you start ratcheting it up, is extremely powerful. And that's really the power of our cloud-based platform to help inform that and make that happen.
I think as a FICO company, where the perception is about credit score, it must be a challenge for you to go and to say, hey, we actually have a decision management platform. And it's like, it's not what people were thinking when they hear about FICO.
And we try, I think one of the strategies, and something our salespeople, our sales team, I know they're probably going to give me a hard time after this, they're incredibly consultative, and they're very good at, I think, solution selling is a term that's used. And we're not always selling solutions. Sometimes we're just trying to address a single challenge for a customer. Very good at asking questions. And I think it's their ability to ask the right questions and then to talk more broadly about what FICO does, as opposed to just the banking part, is talk holistically about the platform story and how these things all fit together, and how you're empowering the business teams in ways they've never been able to do this before. And you're making your data science teams better. I think talking at that level and consistently asking the right questions, and for IT departments that are overwhelmed with business users wanting to build their own apps, in addition to how do we fit all these legacy applications together, this platform story also is resonating with them, because it's simplifying what they need to do as well.
And as a product marketing director, you are responsible for actually creating the playbooks, the stories, the messaging for your sales reps to communicate effectively.
I collect a lot of that information. We do a fair amount of testing and learning in terms of how we present this to the field. The field are, again, hats off to our sales and pre-sales teams, who are largely so capable that they're able to test some of their own concepts as well and feed that information back to us and say, great deck, but I've got a better slide here. And sometimes, our job, it might just be to pretty up something that they've done extraordinarily well. Our global head of decision management suite practice, a gentleman named Bill Wade, is extraordinarily good at really getting inside the customer and also being able to get what their challenges are and feed that information back to us so we can do some rinse and repeat in terms of our storyline.
Right.
So it's very, very collaborative. It could always be more real time, but I think the feedback we get from the field is extraordinarily valuable in helping all the marketing teams, including product marketing, be more precise.
Yeah. And how do you scale that? And I think that's the challenge is that if you really want to scale the sales of this platform, you got to have process and standardization and knowing what's most effective and then really execute on that.
Well, ironically, we talk about disruption and if you're not disrupting, you're being disrupted. And working in a decision management platform and a DMS, a decision management suite sort of mindset, things are constantly changing. So we have to, as marketers, really practice not falling in love with one thing too much, or if someone says, hey, that worked out great, it doesn't mean it's going to work out great for 9 out of the other 10 deals.
Right.
So we have to, you have to, always going to have egos, we all do as product marketers. Oh, that's my piece, that's my deck. Help win the deal. We have to be really careful to step back and keep our ears and eyes open. Watching the competition. I'd say not overwatching the competition, and I had insight about this actually last night while I was thinking about talking to you today. One of the challenges is a lot of people say, well, look what such and such company did. We need to do something like that. One of my strategies in the last few months has been flipping that. What is something we could create that nobody else has created, like a piece of content, like a blog?
Thought leadership.
A thought leadership.
Yeah.
And a lot of that's in the blog format because blogging is great in the sense that you don't always have to go through a whole content production process. You just put something out there. And we measure this. Particularly, we have an external client community where we do a lot of blogging and a FICO.com community. This is a great mechanism for us to test certain kinds of topics.
Yes.
Yeah, and even when people aren't providing feedback, we're looking at all the analytics. How long are they staying on the page? And this really gives us a good ability to measure certain kinds of topics. So I always try to stay ahead. I don't, I love it when a competitor comes up with a great topic or takes something that maybe I had an idea about and they do a better job of it. That just feeds me to come up with something even better and different. But it's the being different part. I think that's what keeps us on our toes.
So what's going to be the different marketing technique or practice you're going to do? What's exciting ahead for you?
We continue to find new ways to collaborate across, just like we have our clients collaborating across functions between data science and between business teams and so on. I think as an organization, as a marketing organization, how can product marketing work better with the demand gen team? How can we continue to improve that funnel of information between us and the sales organization? This is probably the one place I've worked where even though sales and marketing are always going to disagree, and sales, needs things that maybe aren't priorities for us, so we haven't decided to make a priority as a marketing focus, and we're pretty agile as a lean marketing organization. We're starting to rip away a lot of those kind of barriers, and we've been doing that for a long time. And it's just building trust that way, agreeing to disagree, agreeing that we all have different priorities. I think that's the real shift. I don't think of myself as a product marketer, and I've been in 6 different marketing roles here at FICO in 8 years. I think of myself as, and might sound a bit trite, but I work for FICO. And I would do marketing for FICO, and that's all that really matters to me. And whether I'm doing product marketing, it's a little different than demand gen, of course, but I'm still thinking about demand gen. I'm still thinking about the solution. I'm thinking about the salesperson.
That's right.
And that's what we're doing differently. That's what we're doing better. Yes, we could always do data better. We could always study data and analytics. there are probably areas of infrastructure over time we'll invest in more, I'm sure. But I think the real benefit for us is the no barriers approach.
Yeah, so now that you've shifted from reporting to product team to now the marketing sales team, there should be a lot more alignment and better outcomes.
I think so
Yeah.
too. And we have a real visionary leader of marketing who's just full of passion and he's always just really out there in terms of his ideas, and both with praise and criticism. And I think he sort of typifies the point of view of where I think we're all sort of going in terms of, look, to be a no barriers business, we have to sort of strip away some of our own insights and prejudices that are biases that are holding us back from being the best that we can be. So I think we're going to start to see that expansion of connectivity and collaboration on an even grander scale. We kind of have to, because again, we have to be the disruptors.
Yeah.
We don't want to be disrupted. So, so that's the challenge.
It's been great to have you talk about the platform. Like I said, FICO is known for the credit score, so I'm very pleased to hear about the decision management platform, and appreciate you showing up and talking about it. And congratulations for the change, and good luck with the campaign.
Great. Yeah, it's always an ongoing a set of challenges, but it's been highly rewarding, and this is the place I've worked at the longest in my pretty long career. So I'm just counting on a lot of good years. I think the best is yet to come.
Well, we're helping you promote it here, so
thank you.
There you go. Take it up with Jessica Lee, Todd Rollin from FICO.
Thank you.